Welcome back, everyone. Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at an absolute game changer for the agricultural sector. We're talking about transforming everyday farms into massive green energy powerhouses. We're going to unpack the ultimate blueprint for the PM-KUSM scheme. If you've been following this space, you know this is a flagship initiative by the government of India that's literally changing the landscape of farming, swapping out dirty diesel for pure sunshine. To truly grasp this scheme, we got to start with the sheer scale of the ambition here. 3,800. That is the number of megawatts of solar capacity this program aims to add across the country. Frankly, it's the world's largest program specifically designed to promote solar energy right at the farm level. Huge, right? And backing up that massive energy goal is an equally massive financial commitment. Get this, 34,422 crore rupees. That's the staggering amount of government subsidy pumping life into this transition. So yeah, this isn't just some tiny pilot program, it's a full-scale, well-funded national rollout. But let's anchor those big numbers to real, on-the-ground impact. That funding, it's targeted at deploying 20 lakh, or 2 million, solar pumps to empower farmers. That's 2 million independent, super reliable sources of water and power, put directly into the hands of the people growing our food.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the PM-KUSUM solar revolution. 2, decoding the 3 components. 3, subsidies and financial benefits. 4, a deep dive into component B. 5, the step-by-step application roadmap. And finally, 6, the essential document checklist. Let's get into it.
Part 1, the PM-KUSM solar revolution, consumer to producer. For decades, the farmer's identity has been pretty strictly tied to being a consumer of power. Currently, India's agriculture sector eats up nearly 18% of the country's total electricity just for irrigation alone. And you know the struggle, often relying on costly diesel dependence and, well, totally erratic grid power. PM KUSUM flips that script entirely. It offers total energy security, decarbonization, and here's the best part, the ability to generate sustainable secondary income streams by actually selling your surplus power back to the grid. Number 2, decoding the 3 components. Find your persona. Now, what's really interesting here is how smartly the government segmented this scheme, so you can easily find your specific persona. Here's the absolute core of PM KUSUM, neatly mapped out into 3 tracks. Component A is for decentralized renewable power plants. This is your target if you're a larger entity, a cooperative, or maybe a private developer partnering with a farmer to set up a larger solar plant. Component B, that's standalone solar agriculture pumps. Perfect for the off-grid, individual farmer who just wants to replace a diesel pump. And finally, Component C focuses on the solarization of grid-connected pumps, aiming to help farmers who are already on the grid generate their own power and feed any excess right back to the discoms.
Number 3, subsidies and financial benefits. Show me the money.
All right, let's move from abstract components to concrete financial stakes. The crucial point is right here in this funding split. For the general states, the central government provides a 30% subsidy, and the state government matches that with another 30%. Do the math, and that means 60% of the benchmark cost is completely subsidized. Boom. The farmer or developer is only responsible for the remaining 40%. It makes adopting solar highly, highly accessible. And honestly, it gets even better depending on where you're located. For special category states, so we're talking the Northeast, hilly regions, and island states, the central share jumps up to a massive 50%. The state keeps its 30%, which leaves the farmers shouldering just 20% of the total cost. I mean, wow. Now you might be wondering, okay, how do I cover that remaining 20 to 40%? Well, the scheme has integrated some highly favorable bank loan structures. Typical loans range from 30,000 to 8 lakh rupees. But just look at these terms. You get a repayment period of 5 to 10 years and incredibly a moratorium of 6 to 12 months before you even have to start paying it back. On top of that, several states offer an additional 2 to 5% interest subvention, making the rates super concessional. Oh, and if you're an eligible MSME working on a larger Component A project, you can even get CGT-MSE cover. Pretty sweet deal. Let's look at the financial viability of this with a real example from the source text for a 1 megawatt Component A plant. Imagine a 4.5 crore plant where 60% is subsidized. You take a loan for 1.8 crore. With a 25-year power purchase agreement, selling power back to the grid at roughly 3 rupees 50 paise per kilowatt hour, your annual revenue is around 52 to 56 lakhs.
After you pay your EMI, your net annual surplus is roughly 24 to 28 lakh rupees. You literally pay back your initial contribution in just 7 to 8 years. It perfectly illustrates the potential for a farm to operate as a completely sustainable, profitable energy business.
4. Deep Dive Component B, Standalone Solar Pumps. Listen, if you have an off-grid small farm primarily focused on a single crop, this one's for you. You're likely looking at a pump up to 3 horsepower. As you can see, the subsidy structure holds firm here, 30% central, 30% state, and your 40% share is fully eligible for those favorable loan terms we just talked about. It really takes the guesswork right out of the upfront capital required. On the technical side, Component B is built to be incredibly versatile. The technology pairs solar PV panels with either DC or AC motor pump sets, and it's tailored to whatever water source you happen to rely on, whether that's an open well, a deep bore well, a canal, a river, or even a pond. You get to choose between surface or submersible pumps based entirely on your specific farm layout. Plus, the whole shebang is backed by a minimum 5-year comprehensive warranty from the vendor.
5. Application Roadmap Step-by-Step Guide.
Let's move on and see how this builds, because getting through the bureaucracy doesn't actually have to be a headache. Here is your definitive linear progression. Step 1. Visit your state's SNA portal, that's the state nodal agency or energy department, and just register. You'll need your Aadhaar, mobile number, land details, and electricity account info. Step 2. Once logged in, submit your expression of interest, or EOI, for the specific component you've chosen. Step 3. Your application undergoes an eligibility assessment regarding your land and pump type. Once cleared, you secure your institutional financing using those great loan terms, and boom, you're on your way to installation.
6. Document Checklist. Prepare your paperwork.
Now, any government scheme requires paperwork, but gathering it is a breeze if you're prepared before you even log onto the portal. It really all boils down to 4 main categories. First, KYC documents, so your basic ID and address proofs. Second, land documents, proof of ownership or a lease agreement showing you actually have the rights to the land where the solar tech will sit. Third, financial documents, bank statements and details necessary for the subsidy transfer and loan processing. And lastly, technical documents, which will vary depending on if you're just replacing a pump or setting up a whole grid-connected power plant. Get these 4 folders organized and your application process will be incredibly smooth. And that brings us to the most important question of all. Are you ready to harvest sunshine alongside your crops? The KUSUM Scheme is heavily subsidized and designed specifically to empower agricultural operations. It provides a real, actionable avenue to stop relying on costly diesel, take control of your power generation, and secure a sustainable, profitable future for your farm. Dive in, get your documents ready, and explore what solar can do for you today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.